with the lead. Court. Batista with the catch. Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life. Hand down, man down.
Yeah, I can see how disrespectful he's being right there.
No, I went to Temecula and brought you some dirt.
Yeah, that's a technical.
Mama, there goes that man.
Welcome back to The Bounce for the first time on Bite Size Sports. I am Kev. With me, as always, is my dear friend, co-host James.
We're back.
We're back. Sorry,
We're back, and we got a fancy new introduction. You've been working your ass off. Like, we took a week off because the NCAA tournament was gone. The transition stage there, it just worked out perfectly to just sit last week out, and we are back, buddy. We're back.
Cannot wait. I'm so glad to do this, and it was well worth it. I should have all of you know that we stayed to watch the end of the Kansas State Michigan State game. So first of all, quick spoilers, UConn's going to win the other game, so let's focus
huge spoiler alert
on this one. James, what is your takeaway in a record-breaking performance from Kansas State?
Unbelievable performance from Marcus Noel. Finished with 20 points, 19 assists. That's an all-time NCAA tournament record. Just magnificent. Kev, did you see the argument on the play in overtime where it looked like him and the coach were arguing and he turns and throws the alley-oop to Keontae Johnson? Boom!
Beautiful. And it was queued up so well in the stream or on the show because they're saying, how could you get fooled? How could you get lulled to sleep? And as
happens,
cut to point guards just argue. It looks like he's arguing with his coach, and then
there's the UC two. Like he's not like, oh no, it's so good, man. And also shout out Keontae Johnson. He had 22 tonight, and his career. If you don't remember, Kev, he's the guy at Florida a couple of years ago that collapsed on the floor, and nobody ever thought he'd play again.
Yeah, I do. I remember we talked about that a little bit in our preview. We're very excited to see him be able to do this and then to have such an impactful play in the Sweet 16 game. That was a huge momentum shifting play.
What a win for K-State. Unbelievable game. Like, first overtime game of the tournament, too. Great. That was great. That was awesome. And apologies for stalling out. We had to catch the end of it.
It was well worth it, I'd say. And here, a couple of things. You know, in the final 2 minutes, it looked like Michigan State, 2 minutes of overtime, it looked like Michigan State might pull away, and I found myself surprised at the final score. However, looking at what we talked about on Monday or about a week ago when we built our brackets, neither of us were surprised, A, that Kansas State was here, or B, that Michigan State was here. You know, who's going to bet against Tom Izzo in March? So here we are once again. Fought all the way down to the end. First, like you said, first overtime game in the tournament. They went down swinging against a very good Kansas State team. So how are you feeling about the Wildcats? I don't even want to ask about brackets. Mine's in the dumpster already.
How did ours turn out, by the way? Did you keep track? I can't be good.
It's about as good as everyone else's is. I don't think we are completely out of the running yet. You know, we have.
I mean, it can't be. Yeah, like. It can't be bad because everybody's bad.
Yeah, we still have at least a Final Four team. We'll have to. I'll do an update for sure on that. We'll have to circle back, but yeah, brackets were decimated.
Yeah, I didn't write it out. I really wish I did. We have to look. We might have to go back and revisit our patheticness at some point. So you're gonna get. So we got 2 more games tonight, Kev. You got Gonzaga, UCLA. The winner of that is going to play UConn because UConn's up 25 with about 8 minutes left here. 24. Got it up down here. Winner. So Kansas State's going to play the winner of Florida Atlantic and Tennessee. And this can be a fun game. I am thrilled for this game. Props to Tennessee for getting here. Zakai Ziegler's out. I'm pretty sure we picked against them. I do know that because I picked against them everywhere because of that.
Yep.
And they just ground Duke into the dirt. They their comments after the game. We just dragged people into the mud, and man, good for them. And then Florida Atlantic, I love that upset against Memphis. I got it. And then they got the FDU, the big upset, and They got it finished. That was a close game too. So props to them. But that's going to be a lot of fun here in a little bit.
Yeah, things really broke their way, which makes me happy because early on this was one of the teams I was lamenting for. One of 3 teams in the nation with 31 wins, and they're a 9 seed.
Yeah,
And
man.
so
Come on.
turns out they got the biggest break of them all when Purdue goes down. And that was crazy. And another prop to our other Bite-Size Sports Network mate, Trevor actually predicted he had in that stream. I think we built a we did something together at some point. He had some notes in. No, this was I think on Playback TV. Sorry about that, but on Playback TV the day of the tournament, he's like, I've got some notes for how Farley Dickerson could beat Purdue. And later,
good for him.
Yeah, so he called that one out. I didn't have that much faith. I mean, we were all on the same page that. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be Purdue's year.
Well, 7'4" Zach Edey should get the ball more than one time in the last 6 minutes. He shouldn't shoot threes for 6 straight minutes in the second half. But Kev, what do we know? We're right here, bud.
We don't know anything. What are we doing?
We don't know anything.
Any predictions for the 2 games tonight? Yeah, I'm going FAU over Tennessee, despite them proving me wrong time and time again.
Oh, I kind of like it.
You like that one? What about UCLA Gonzaga? Which there's where's I can put my hand up and say my bad because I was the one saying we would not get that dream matchup of Gonzaga UCLA, and we did. I'm happy we did.
Love the Zags. I told you this on live stream. It felt weird. It felt like one of those Gonzaga's not very good years, etc. And you're like, you're 28-5. Now they're 30-5 now, and you're like, wait a second, like. What? Like that's the standard they have. The standard is so high.
True. That is true. Yeah, they're a disappointing team only because they continue to go deep into the tournament, but not deep enough, right?
Correct.
They have
and when you mean deep enough, they don't win it. Like that's the kicker against them. They haven't won it yet.
Yeah, it's not like they're not hitting Final Fours or even championship games.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and my bracket is hurting for my lack of faith as well. So, yeah,
I believed.
I'm flipping sides now. I'm gonna go in on the Zags tonight.
I am. That's a fun game. God, it's late. Both these games are late now too because that one went overtime. So, 2 good ones to close the night out. Been a great tournament so far. 2 good ones to close it out. This is awesome. My favorite time of the year, man.
It. Absolutely, still the most wonderful time of the year. I love that it's kicking off and. That overtime really was a blessing for us because now we don't have to feel rushed and we'll still get to watch the end of both of those games. So that brings me to this week in the NBA. Now, we like to include some videos at times when we do this segment. And this week we only have one at James's request, but I
had to have it
for you, James.
It's happened last night for anybody that doesn't know what's coming.
And we'll just let the clip speak for itself, and then we'll give you. It really takes expert analysis, so buckle up, guys. You're really going to want our expertise on this.
This is the Warriors' basket in the second half. There's no Maverick defenders. Looney's like, hey, thank you very much. I've never seen this in my life.
Bold strategy. We'll see
how many
pays off for him.
Do you know how many times I had to watch that? I watched it 1,000,000 times on my phone and then sent it to myself so I could watch it on my computer. I was like, well, I need a bigger screen. Like, I got to be missing something. Dallas doesn't guard the basket. Kev, question for you, bud. Have you ever come out of a timeout, any level, and been like, we're going to guard that side? We're going to guard our own basket.
No. I've only seen stuff like this in like the upward program.
Little kid
basketball.
stuff.
Yeah, occasionally at a freshman or a JV high school basketball thing, kids get confused if it's maybe a neutral site or something that throws them off of their norm. Like I've seen it happen. Both as an official and on the sideline where I've had to be like, oh, hey, guys, over here.
Like, go.
Yeah, I've been on the luxury of it happening maybe in a rec league. Like, it's something you see more in intramurals in college. You would see people maybe not paying attention. But that's the level we're talking about. These people are drunk when they're playing basketball.
You're correct. That's exactly. And there's no explanation. The explanation, the one that came out after the game, they're like, well, we thought it was our ball. but there's nobody there trying to pass it in. So that's a lie. And Kev, they lost by 2 points last night. So these people that think the end of games matter, well, guess what? Every play matters because they lost by 2 points.
It's a game of inches. Sometimes 90 feet.
Yes, it was a game of 90 feet last night, folks. And I do not know what they were doing. It really is like inexcusable, like just completely just inexcusable. It can't happen. It never happened. Like that. That's the first time ever.
Happen. I have a hard time not blaming this on the coaching because
I think that's how I feel about it too, man. I really do.
Right? Somebody's got to be yelling. Like, I truly believe, James, if you're on that sideline as an assistant coach, you are seeing
screaming.
The 5 Warriors on the other side screaming it, like, get, or screaming a timeout. If I'm a head coach, I don't know if I'd risk the technical, but I'm running to the nearest ref.
Yeah,
like call a timeout.
You gotta do something, man.
I'm hoping they'll give me a
that
warning.
Was a rare road win for the Warriors too. Like that was a huge game.
Was that the elusive 8th? Did they finally?
No, they got to 9.
They're at the 9.
I think they won a road game over the weekend. I think. Let me look at this and double check this.
That's what happened. I missed my invite.
That actually puts them.
8. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You weren't invited to the elusive 8. They went back. Oh, that's back-to-back road wins. Rockets, Mavericks, the Texas swing, which gives them. That's why they're 2 games above 500.
The times they are a-changing.
What are your thoughts on Mark Cuban protesting? They're protesting this game because of something that happened down the stretch, some foul down the stretch. You see that?
I did not see that. So what? They're protesting this same game where they didn't guard their own basket?
Yes.
I think that answers my question. Yeah. Regardless of how I feel about the validity of Cuban's call,
here.
Like if he really
pushed Dallas to the 9 seed. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say I don't agree even in practice of doing this. Every team in the league has at least one game that they could go back to. The Lakers have been on both sides of it when it was that Celtics game and where they clearly got the bad calls at the end of the game.
Yep.
Now looking back, we'll talk about this later, the Phoenix game where, Russell clearly gets away with the foul on Booker.
Yes.
Each team, everybody can claim this. So I would just say on its face, without having seen the call in question, I would just say no. But then when you have that clip that we just had, then I say, why would you bother even making that argument during the same game
exactly
where you made that play?
So the Mavs will file a protest to the loss, Cuban told ESPN's Tim McMahon on Wednesday night after what the team believes to be an officiating error late in the third quarter when confusion about which team had possession of the ball led to an So they are.
It's this play.
It is this play. I thought it was something. They are filing a protest because of this play because they lost by 2. Cuban deemed it the worst officiating non-call mistake possibly in the history of the NBA. But it's only so. It's just ESPN's words here. History is not on Dallas's side when it comes to successful protests. It's only happened 6 times in NBA history and only once in the past 41 years. So your best case scenario is you get it in what they declared a tie.
Would they do? Would they have them play a?
I don't
if
know.
it were earlier in the season, they might be able to say, "Hey, the next time you two play, you're gonna finish." I've seen they've done that in baseball before. I think if the game gets rained out or something, and they finish
think
it.
It's like the argument is they thought it was their ball, but it doesn't make any sense because nobody's down there to get it.
And how do you not clarify? And in the only instance in which they have any ground to stand on is if there's proof that one of the other officials told them it was their ball.
Because, I just don't see this I don't see this working at all.
No, I don't either. I'm just going to play the clip one more time because it's been a couple of minutes. And this way, now that we have some added context, let's watch again. We won't see a lot, but let's see what we get.
Look at this. This is the Warriors basket in the second half. There's no Maverick defenders. Looney's like, hey, thank you very much. I've never seen this in my life.
So I hear timeout twice. I do hear it, but that's near the commentary mics. So that's at half court.
Yeah.
I see 2 refs that are clearly in position. I don't see where the third ref is. He's probably getting in an argument with Jason Kidd in that exact moment. But I don't. We see 2 refs that are clearly in position for it to be inbounded, and even the positioning of the sideline ref, like you can see that it's possession going that way because the way that his body's facing. If
Yep.
if they were inbounding going along, I can attest to this having done it a million times. You're not going to be facing. No one wants to backtrot as a ref if you don't have to. So if you know that it's a backcourt inbound and you're walking into the half court, you're going to be facing the half court looking backwards. You're not going to be fully facing. He's perfectly
Yep.
triangulated to be half court,
Mm-hmm.
possession arrow this way so he can see his third ref and he can see his baseline ref. I can tell you 100% with certainty that those two are in position for that to be, hey, basket this way. We're inbounding underneath the basket that we're shooting at. So I don't know what. James, did you see anything that the Mavs have to lean on here?
No. Like, I don't. Like, if there's a guy down there, like, trying to get the ball to pass it in, like, then I would think. But all the Warriors are down there. They're not confused. Like, it's. I don't. That's the weirdest thing, and I don't think it's going to end well for him. Sorry, boys. Sorry, boys. Big loss pushes you to 9th, but sucks to suck.
It does. You gotta be on your toes there. And while we're talking about these Western Conference standings, we have. I don't know that I have the photo here. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. But did you see Devin Booker's thoughts after the loss to the Lakers? It was essentially something along the lines.
You sent it to me, so I'll read it to you because I just
perfect.
pull
Thank
it up
you.
here. So, Devin Booker after last night's loss to the Lakers. Here we go. Quotes. I understand the agendas that are being pushed and trying to just get that out of my head and go out there and compete.
Right. So I have seen.
What is he talking about?
I have seen a number of Twitter accounts in the last couple of days referring to Austin Rivers, this is hilarious, as an industry plant, as the first ever NBA industry plant. And I've seen people highlighting the number of free throws he's gotten in the last few games. Yeah, exactly. It's such a ludicrous take, but the take is essentially, as it always is, that the league is doing things to make life a little bit easier for the hampered Lakers team. And, I've even ESPN tweeted out a video of Austin Rivers in pregame, and people were dogging them for doing that, as if he hasn't
been tearing up
game.
Tearing up the league recently. Yeah, that's weird.
So what are your thoughts on this, James? I am this channel, this network, they know my thoughts on Devin Booker, so this is why I have to ask you first, because everyone's expecting me to tear him a new one here on Bite Size Sports, as I have before. So what are your thoughts?
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, a guy's planted. Like, no way. It's impossible. Like, these guys aren't out there to try to lose. Like, oh my God. Right. Devin Booker, they just need to go out and play. They shouldn't be losing to Lakers anyway. I know guys are out, but come on, man.
I completely agree. The plant thing is ridiculous. Do you think it's equally ridiculous, Devin Booker's not even inference, I guess, his accusation that there's an agenda for the NBA to get the Lakers into the playoffs?
So stupid. They're a 10 seed right now, Kev. Like,
yeah,
they're not. What do you? I don't. I don't.
You could make this argument.
I don't know, man.
20 years ago, 15 years ago, and people have made the argument. I don't think this is a time in the NBA. I could be wrong here. The Lakers are a very big brand, but I just don't think it's that necessary. The West is so stacked because of the internet, because of Twitter, because of shows like this. We're more connected than ever, and these small market teams get more shine. I just don't see how trying to force the Lakers into the play-in would actually do that much for the NBA's revenue. I just don't see it. But
yeah, I feel the same way. Like, it's just because they're going to get to the play-in, and they're either going to get, say they get through the play-in. Where are my standings? I've moved them. There they are. Say they get through the play-in. You're either Memphis, most likely Memphis, or Denver is a 7 or 8 seed. Like, you're going to get pulverized. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what are they setting them up for here? Yeah.
I've been setting them up for the
Lakers,
8-1 seed, like Lakers, Memphis, and ups. I don't even think with LeBron being healthy they can beat anybody. I just don't.
Hey, maybe Austin Reeves is going to take him to the promised
He
land. No,
is
I
he is on an absolute tear right now.
I don't see them getting out of the first round, regardless of how it plays out. Now, yeah, I understand Devin Booker's frustration, but yeah, I think the Lakers are right about where they should be, and I was pleasantly surprised a couple days ago. The Thunder, they were up. They've
Hmm.
since kind of fallen back to eighth here, but I mean, pleasantly surprised that we still see the Thunder. Do you think are there any teams currently sitting in this play-in mix that you do like to win a first round series?
Man, that's a loaded question.
That's
Um,
what I'm here for.
I like the possibility in the East more with the Heat sitting at 7, but they could get to 6. If it's the Nets in the 7 spot, I don't like the Nets. We know our thoughts on them.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what like Mavericks haven't figured it out, and they've not been healthy. I mean, Timberwolves is interesting because Cat's coming back this week, but I actually think it makes them worse.
Well, yes, we
They're back
talked
to
about
trying to
this.
figure that. They're back to
Mhm.
trying to figure it all out. So I don't believe in them. The Thunder, are like the plucky upstarts, like I think they're a year away from being like, hey, these guys get really fun. You get Chet back from injury next year. I
Have
like
you
them
watched
next
any of
year.
his tape lately?
Is he
He's been war-
Braxton?
he's been warming up pregame even.
Good for him.
Yeah, so he's got some nice fade away. His footwork is looking good off that jumper. It's looking silky,
You know,
looking
that's a
smooth.
fun rookie of the year battle next year between him and Wemby. Like that's a lot of fun.
Oh, 100%, especially with their play styles and their
And kind of
size and
kind of similar to the size. Like that's very abnormal. That's fun.
I
But
like that
no,
one a lot.
I really don't, man. Like if the Warriors would be in the play-in, I think I kind of like them as a dangerous little team. But right now they're a Sacramento Kings matchup. That's fun. The Lakers are dangerous, but I don't see them being good enough in their one snag away from one of their stars being out for the playoffs. LeBron is trending towards playing again in the regular season, which is good. I mean, the one team is Dallas, but they haven't shown they've got can figure it out. They're
Yep.
4-6 in their last 10. Like, not really. Because I just think the ones and twos in both conferences are so good. Denver and Memphis, and then the Bucks and Celtics. And I mean, Philly's right there. They're a half game back of Boston, so that one's not over. I don't. The Kings are 2 games back from Memphis. I don't think they'll get them. Props to Memphis for weathering the John Morant storm. Now,
Yep.
who knows? Like, could something happen? And absolutely.
It absolutely could. Yeah, and I think they're the most questionable 2 seed in my opinion. That's why I think
Yeah.
if it does happen, I think it happens in the West. I do agree with you that Miami is an interesting one to look at because if
Yeah.
they end up in the 7 seed, I do like their ability to win a playoff series just based off their core there. But yeah,
Hmm.
I think if we're gonna see it, I think it's gonna be in the West. But as you
I
mentioned,
agree.
Memphis has weathered the storm, and so they they are one of a few playoff locks. So I'm actually going to pivot to that right now. We've
Yep.
got on the screen, you can see them.
5 teams are locked right now.
Boom, Denver, Memphis, and
Yep.
then 3 over here in the East. We got the
Yep.
Bucks, Celtics, Sixers. What are your thoughts here, James? Who is your favorite amongst the 5 that are currently sitting pretty?
Mhm. Yeah, so you got the 5 teams that have clinched. Denver and Memphis have clinched their divisions. The East teams have not yet. It's just a formality at this point. Listen, man. I'm gonna stand by my pick. I stand by Denver. I struggled recently. 5-5 in their last 10. Got a little complacent. If the season started, or the playoffs started today, they'd be the 4th best team in the whole thing behind the 3 East teams. But I stand by my Denver. I love the Nugs. I'm still in. I'm still a believer. I think they got a little complacent there, but 32-13 in their own conference. They're blowing the West up.
Yes, they are. And the only team, now the Clippers, they joined the Clippers and the Sacramento Kings as the only
Yep.
Western playoff teams that can win games on the road. But
Yep.
I'm going to pivot here, James. That it would
Okay.
be
Okay,
fun
Kev.
if I just stayed with Denver this time. So you know what? Give me Milwaukee for now because I
Mm-hmm.
really love the depth that they've added to this
Yeah.
team.
Middleton's getting healthy, man. He's starting to play.
Yep, and they can hit you from so many levels. We've talked numerous times about our love for Brook Lopez on this program
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what he's done and adding Bobby Portis and what Bobby Portis has done.
Mm-hmm.
They can hit you from so many
Jay
angles and they're so
Crowder,
deep.
like
Jay
they
Crowder
can
has been a big addition.
they can play big or they can play small with Giannis at the 5. They can go big with you got Brook Lopez in the middle, Giannis at the 4, Bobby Portis at the 3. I mean, they can get huge. Middleton at the 2.
And you
Middleton has been
mentioned, yeah,
playing better, man.
you mentioned Middleton. If he gets back to form with Middleton and Drew Holiday, like those are
Changes. It's a game
three
changer.
legitimate all stars. And
Mm-hmm.
I still really like Boston, but in this moment, if I had to
Mm-hmm.
lock it in, I'm putting some money on Milwaukee. I don't hate your Denver choice. I could see them. I would like to see them bounce back. I'm still pretty high on Denver getting to the conference finals and even potentially to the NBA finals. But give me Milwaukee for now.
I don't hate it. And the big question is really Middleton's health. In he's still not playing back to backs. When he goes, when they get to playoffs, how's he going to handle it? Those games are they're not back to backs, but they're quick. I mean, he's a game changer. He changes everything for them. He makes them so much more versatile, and that's just the question: is how is he going to handle it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's we'll see. I hope he stays healthy. This takes me to our next issue on health, and we're talking about other playoff teams here. And we're going to start in Los Angeles with the Clippers because Paul George, thank God, has only suffered a sprained knee and will be
I
reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks.
watched the replay, Kevin. I thought he tore his ACL.
It was
It's
horrifying.
viewers. It's not great. Don't
Yeah,
look
we're
at
not going to
it.
show it. Yeah.
I thought he tore his ACL. I really did. I thought he was done. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like they had Kawhi do it. Now you're going to turn around like they're just freaking cursed. It says 2 to 3 weeks, which means he's maybe at the beginning of the playoffs he's back. I don't, it just depends. Which, like you said, great that they survived it. Like he didn't tear his ACL, but man, just bad timing, bad luck.
Yeah, it really is, and it was mentioned in some tweets that we shared in the pre-show how they were 6-11 in the 17 games without Paul
Mm-hmm.
George earlier this season, but I want to believe that a lot of those games also didn't include Kawhi Leonard,
Mm-hmm. I meant to look
and
it up and I forgot to. It's my fault. I wanted
they
to
were
have that.
they were also noticeably likely before the Clippers made all of these trade deadline moves. So this is a much deeper team than it
Mm-hmm.
was when Paul George was missing time earlier in the season. So with that in mind, they're 11 games out of first. They're only a half game behind Phoenix for the 4 seed currently. However, the 10 seed is breathing down their neck, only 2 games out of
Mm-hmm.
being completely out of the playoffs. So where do
Yeah.
you see the Clippers? We know we're not getting Paul George at least until the playoffs. Are
Yep.
they going to be there for him to come back to?
It's gonna take. Kawhi Leonard's gonna have to be Kawhi Leonard for this to happen. So they've got 9 games left. Big one tonight. They're gonna tip off against OKC here, and I think it's in 20 minutes. I think it's a late game. Yep. Oh God, it's super late. It's an hour from now.
Ooh.
They're in LA. They're in LA. That's why 7:00, 7:30 tip in LA, or maybe 6:30. It's late. Huge game tonight. They got New Orleans, Chicago, twice at Memphis back to back. New Orleans again, Lakers, Portland, Phoenix. So there's a lot of teams in there that are beatable, and a lot of teams they're competing with. Just in the West alone, they've got OKC, New Orleans, Lakers. So there's 3 games there against teams they're competing with those playoff spots for. I think
Yeah.
they will be there. I think they'll be a play-in team,
I
which
That's tough. I don't disagree. I think, yeah, there's not looking at, we got the Warriors a half game behind them, Minnesota a game and a half. We talked about the growing pains that they are inevitably going to have to go through, that they were going through before, when they hadn't figured that offense out when Karl Anthony Towns was playing. And Mike Conley will make a big difference, I'm sure, but it's still going to take some time. But we've got Dallas and the Lakers back there that could creep into that sixth realm. Thinking of Golden State as a 5 seed is pretty impressive once again when we consider their 9-29 away
9-29, dude.
How much they have.
They're on a winning streak on the road, though.
It is insane. So, yeah, I think we will see the Clippers in the playoffs. I think they'll be a high end. I won't be surprised if they hold the 6th seed, because Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Dallas, LA, a lot of question marks across the board with those 4. I wouldn't be completely surprised to see none of those 4 teams get hot enough for the Clippers to just be a 500 team, and only the Warriors surpasses them. So that's what I would think. And now I will say this one hurts me, because when this team was fully healthy, you remember this, James, I had the Clippers going to the Western Conference Finals.
You did,
as
yes,
a healthy unit.
You did.
So I no
they
longer
never got
feel
there.
that confident anymore. So I think they'll be there, but I think that's going to be about the end of it for them. Now, what about Phoenix? Because their situation looks a little better. They're only a half game ahead of the Clippers, but Kevin Durant is going to be reevaluated in about a week now.
Yep, he's got a little time here.
Talk that he could be back even before the playoffs start. So how are you feeling about Phoenix? You feeling any better about their playoff?
I see him as a second round team, and man, it's so tough. When does KD come back? Is he back before the playoffs? Again, I stand by the thing I said the whole time, because now it's more relevant, is they're just never going to play together. They haven't since they traded him, because he's got hurt, and then he was hurt and then re-hurt. He hadn't even played a home game yet for Phoenix.
3 games. Yeah.
I don't feel great about him, man. I really don't. Like, think about, the Warriors are 1 game back from 4th. The Warriors team that can't win on the road. That's unstoppable at home. They've got to have the 3rd best home record in the East or the West behind the top 2 teams.
29-7 at home. So
they have
you're correct.
Essentially the 3rd best in the league. Milwaukee's 30-7, so they're almost identical. That's wild. They're horrific on the road.
That'll get them to the second round, though. They get that 4 seed. They're in the second round.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, I don't feel great about Phoenix. I know CP3, Devin Booker, Ayton are really, that's a hell of a core. That's get into the second round core. But then you're going to see the best. And without KD, it's not happening. And even with him, they haven't had a lot of time.
I'll tell you what I'm rooting for. A 4 versus 5 Suns against the Golden State Warriors.
It'll be so fun.
Matchup. 7 games of KD
so fun.
Versus the Warriors.
Give me the Warriors the 4 seed, though. Let's let them be the 4 seed. That way they can play at home 4 times. Yes, they can play at home 4 times.
Well, that would be great. You mentioned how Kevin Durant has yet to play a home game for Phoenix. The other thing he has yet to do? Return to Golden State and play. Steve Kerr mentioned this recently. They still have a package, like a welcome and a thank you package, prepared for Kevin Durant for the first time he plays
was so long
in a
ago.
game in Golden State. Yeah, because of injuries and other things, it's just never lined up. He has yet to return to San Francisco and play a game.
That's wild. I would have never guessed that.
Bonkers. So I would say, we'll get them into the playoffs. I firmly believe that the Suns could make a run. I don't know. I think without Kevin Durant, as you said, they're a second round team at best, though. Mm-hmm. With KD, they could go all the way.
We just had tip off of the first night game. So FAU Tennessee just tipped off. We are live, folks.
Let's keep an eye on that. And, we've been keeping an eye on something throughout the season. And we talked earlier about teams that have clinched their playoff berth. There are other teams who have clinched something equally important. So insert soundbite here. It's time for Wemby Watch. So the Hornets, the Pistons, who else is eliminated? The Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs are all mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, soon to be joined, I imagine, by the likes of the Orlando Magic and maybe the Washington Wizards and my beloved Indiana Pacers. So, James, how are we feeling about the Wemby Watch? Do you have a favorite horse in this race right now?
I'm flipping it so I have all the stats up here. Sure looks like Detroit is just hanging around. They got a 2-game. God, I'm really about to say this, Kev. They've got a 2-game lead. They got a 2-game lead for the best odds. Houston's right. I mean, it really comes down to. I think Detroit's dang near locked this up. Like 1-9 in their last 10. They got to just tank it out. The question is then who gets the 2? Houston, San Antonio, they're 1 game apart. Charlotte won too many games down the stretch. And then, man, those teams right there. How many? The 5's still pretty solid odds, right?
Yeah.
That's Orlando's got it right now. And it's Washington, Portland, Indiana. Like, if I'm them teams, screw trying to make the playoffs. I'm tanking. Let's try to get the 5th. Let's get those odds.
I am with you. Yeah, 100%. Let's tank Commander Kev over here. That's what I want.
Well, we talked about that they should have been doing it for a long time, man. They had a chance to really solidify this 5th spot, and they won. I think they might have beat the Magic. That was 2 weeks ago when we were talking about that. Just not great. Just go for it. Even the 2 seed, you get scooped, man.
Right. Ain't too bad. Honestly, though, the more I look at this class, I really think there are multiple home runs in that top 5.
Yeah. I got to do some more digging into it and see who's. Scoot wouldn't really fit Indiana, would he?
Scoot would not be a good fit. I
and
think
you have to move Buddy.
You could try it, but yeah, you're gonna have to move something because we have Halliburton at the 1. They're already. I mean, everywhere where they're good right now, except for Miles Turner, is in the backcourt. That's where most of their talent is.
Young and good. Yep.
They're better off getting someone in the wing, somebody like that can play for them. But that could be Scoot's one of those kind of talents, though. Where if you land that number 2, you're probably willing to trade down, or you're just going with it and then
figuring it out.
Figuring something out. Maybe make a trade afterwards. You mentioned Buddy Hield, something like that. I'd hate to see him go, but it's definitely an option for them. So we talked about this one a little bit earlier. Actually, you know what? Before I switch completely off of this, we mentioned Orlando, and this is unprompted. Although I slid it into the thumbnail, so I was hoping to signal to you.
You know where I am.
We need to take some time to appreciate. It's not Bol Bol this time in Orlando.
No, it's not. And I've talked about this guy multiple times this year, so I am so happy for him. The month Markelle Fultz is having. Like we talked about it, every month he's gotten better and he's done it again. This month in March, he's averaging 17.5 points a game, 6.3 assists per game, 4.5 rebounds per game. Shooting 54% from the field. He's awful from three-pointer. He's 28% essentially. Makes half an attempt on 1.5 attempts a game. But these 2 lines he had last week, back-to-back, were unbelievable, and it's showing that he's turning a corner, and I think he's about to be a mega piece of this Orlando team going forward. In a loss to Phoenix last week, he had 25 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds on 17 shots, and then followed it up 2 days later in a win against the Clippers with his career high 28 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 10 of 17 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. He had 17 last night. 2 nights ago, Tuesday, and they just won, I believe. Let me refresh this. I think they just beat the Knicks, which the Knicks are thoroughly in the playoffs tonight. They won 111-106. He had 10 points, 8 assists. Cole Anthony had a monster game. He had 18 points. But I really believe Markelle Fultz is a huge piece of this team going forward. And congrats to him. Props to him for finding a way back, because he was Ben Simmons before Ben Simmons became Ben Simmons. Got the yips, couldn't shoot, whatever you want to say, was traded away for nothing. Like, he just a throwaway. Has he been traded twice now? Is that right? Or is it just once?
I got him up here. It was just the once, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. He was traded. He was the first pick in the draft and traded to the Magic in his third season.
Mm-hmm. They gave for a team whose motto was trust the process.
Yeah, but they fired the process. They fired the architect. He's right now. This will be career highs in points. He's averaging 14.1. He started off really slow this year because of that injury. Assists at 5.7. Rebounds 2.8. Free throw percentage is down, but it's the most free throws per game he's taken. Career high in 3-point percentage, which it's 30% on 1.4 attempts per game. Not great. Career high in field goal percentage. Career high in field goals per game. Career high in minutes per game. Like, he is having it's not a monster season, but it's trending to be next year could be really fun and good for him. Good for him for finally making this happen. Most games. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, he could be trending in a direction where if he holds this pace for next year, he could be in line to win Most Improved or Comeback Player of the Year.
Absolutely, yes.
So Most Improved, I believe, is what they call it. But yeah, so I love that for Fultz. I'm so happy to see him make that turn. And you mentioned Ben Simmons, and I want to stick with that for a second because I think it's unfortunate. As you said, Fultz was Ben Simmons before Ben dealt with it. And it just goes to show you how different a scenario can make things, because Fultz was allowed to go to Orlando, where no one really cared as much. There aren't these bright spotlights. No one expected that team to win anytime soon. He was allowed to take his time. It didn't happen overnight. That jump shot was still very much broken when he got to Orlando, and he was able to fix it slowly and kind of emerge. You talk about like the frog in boiling water or whatever. He's kind of gotten to just like work his way back into it very quietly under the radar, and now people are like, oh yeah, Markelle Fultz, what happened to him?
And he missed a ton of time. 2020-21, he played in 8 games. 2021-22, he played at 18 games. I think he tore his ACL one year, isn't that right? And then he broke his foot or something like that. Just weird things. And this will be the second most games he's ever played. He started every single game this year when he's played. Good for him, man. Like, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, very.
Still only 24. Still only 24.
Has a bright future, whether it's in Orlando or elsewhere. This guy is.
I agree.
Somebody to keep your eye on. So what else are we keeping our eye on this weekend, James? Do we have some good games ahead of us?
Let me pull it back up. I think it's not a great slate, which is there's a mega game, but it's kind of disappointing. Let's get to Friday here. Friday, let's pull this up.
Get it previewed here.
Fun one tomorrow is Philadelphia at Golden State. So we will see if Golden State's home prowess holds true when they play the best of the best. It's a late game, NBA TV game at 10 if you're looking for something to watch. And then the other big one is Phoenix at Sacramento tomorrow night. It's a lot of fun too. Both late games.
Yeah, it's one for the night owls on Friday. Yeah, that's for sure. Those are two of my favorites. Now, a personal favorite, I will be watching Indiana against Boston. Now, everyone knows what I'm looking for. The last time these two teams played, it was great. It was the perfect storm for the Pacers because they were competitive. They fought hard for 4 quarters, and they couldn't keep up at the end. And Boston expanded the lead in the last few minutes. To me, that's exactly what I want to see from a team that's on the rebuild. I want to see them play hard, show that they can hang with one of the better young teams in this league, but ultimately fall short of their goal. Another one I will be looking at in a similar fashion, Milwaukee at Utah. Now, Utah, a Friday night at 9 p.m. with the best team in the East in town. That place is going to be rocking. That place gets packed on a Monday night because I'm not sure what else they got going on in Utah,
Yep.
but they love their basketball team. And the Bucks really may not need that one. Utah needs to lose it. They are dangerously close to being in the
We
play-in.
talked about this at length.
Stop it.
They should have been losing game 1. Like, what are you doing?
And you may have noticed, those of you watching, I have a little name under my avatar today. Says
Yeah, I saw
part-time
that.
Bulls fan, because I need Chicago to win at Portland. I need them to put a little space between themselves and my beloved Pacers in the play-in conversation. So those are games I'll be watching selfishly, but you've already hit on the two biggest, most important ones. But there's that other one at 10:30, right?
Yeah,
Oklahoma
I was
City
just going
and
to
the
say that.
Lakers.
Yeah, there's the playoff implication games at 10:30. Oklahoma City, LA. That's a huge playoff in the play-in game implications game. So that's a big one too.
And a potential play-in preview. So I guess going back to, we'll do them in chronological order here. So going back to the big one of the night, Philly at Golden State. Who you got for that one, James?
Golden State don't lose at home, man. They don't lose at home. I'm going to stick with Golden State. They are going to win at home.
Yep. Next, moving very quickly to the next one, Phoenix at Sacramento. Now, I love this one. We haven't had as much time today as we normally would like to speak about the Sacramento Kings. So now's our opportunity. James, what do you think? Will Phoenix take it down on the road, or will Sacramento be lighting the beam Friday night?
They're lighting the beam. Devin Booker's too worried about Austin Reeves right now.
Living in his head rent-free.
Living in his head, they are going to win that game Friday, I believe.
I tell you what, Devin Booker once made a mascot who was the only person in attendance at a basketball game move from underneath the hoop so he could shoot a free throw. He will not have a good night in the raucous arena at Sacramento.
Think about this. If they lose, Phoenix loses and Golden State wins, that puts Golden State at 39-36, and the Suns would be 38-35. They would be tied.
Ooh.
Be wild.
I love it, and that's what we're calling here. That's where I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, we're lighting the beam. So what about 10:30 Oklahoma City, a team that all year I was saying the same things. I think we both were with them in Utah. Quit winning so you can get another lottery pick. You're going to be stacked next year. But
at least with Oklahoma City, it's young guys and dudes that are going to be a part of this, and they've got their pieces. But still, I agree they should have been losing too. But I think LA gets that one at home. I think they'll take care of business at home. Two hot teams. Thunder 8-2 in their last 10. Lakers are 6-4. Both have won 2 straight. Big. That's a big game, man. Oklahoma City though, 14-21 on the road. Give me the Lakers.
Yeah, I have a hard time arguing with you there because of everything you just said, and it's got a playoff atmosphere in LA. This is a great situation for some of those younger players, some of the recent additions to the Lakers to have a basically a playoff game before the playoffs start, because that's honestly, that's how the Lakers are probably viewing every game for the rest of the season, as if it's a playoff game. But this one,
28 most important games of LeBron's career. Remember that.
Well, it's significantly fewer now, but yes.
I just put one out of him.
Let's moving to Saturday. What do we have? Any of these sticking out at you?
Saturday's kind of yuck. Indiana Atlanta does have some play-in implications. Brooklyn at Miami is a seeding game.
Yeah, we've got some interest. There's a lot of potential here on Saturday because you've got now. I'm going to go backwards through these. I'm going to start at the late game because I'm so disappointed in what might have been with New Orleans. That
could have been a monster game if neither of them, the injuries have just wrecked both those teams.
Yep. So that one's a bit sad. Utah at Sacramento. Those of you who didn't catch this during the week, when Utah beat Sacramento in Utah, they lit their own neon yellow beam to celebrate the victory. So
did they really?
Yeah, I think Sacramento is going to be hungry for some revenge. So I would keep an eye on that game for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Trev here real quick. We're going to make an NCAA, like, for people that don't know, with the switch of channels. There's going to be a little more talk of NCAA basketball than previous use was just an NBA, all NBA show. We're all basketball now. Former player Tyreek Key, Trev can't spell, played for me at Indiana State for 4 years, was there for 5, got hurt. He hit a 3 not too long ago, and he's playing on Tennessee's team. He's from Tennessee. He's playing there in the Sweet 16 right now, and he's number 4 right now, so good for him. Shout out to him. That's what Trev's talking about because he's seen him play. Back to your Utah thing. I did not know that. I did not know anything about that. That's wild. Kind of crazy, man.
I thought that was fun. A little fun back and forth, little rivalry brewing there. But we have also the Philadelphia at Phoenix at 10.
That's a fun game. There are some fun games here. I lied. Denver, Milwaukee is both those games right there, the 9 and 10, are potential NBA finals if the chips fall right.
Yep, especially that Milwaukee Denver. Right now, if you made me pick a playoff bracket, those would be my 2 teams in it playing.
And you'd curse them, and that'd be it.
So watch them both fall from grace. How about you there in the chat? Let us know any games on Saturday or upcoming Sunday as we're about to look at those. If there are games that you're most interested in. Any other questions while we're at it? Honestly, I haven't done that usual plug, so forgive me. We're getting back in the swing of things, but we always want to hear from you in the chat, in a comment below, or you can hit us up after the show on Twitter and ask us a question. We would love to answer it, which I'm going to pivot before we go to Sunday. You know what? No, we're going to go to Sunday. I have a question for you after this. Okay. We have a viewer submitted question. James, you and I are going to help solve someone's fantasy basketball. We've got somebody who needs us to help pick 8 keepers. So stick around for that if you're interested. In the meantime, Sunday night showdown. Wait, we didn't pick winners for Saturday. Let's pick the big 3 or the big 2. Milwaukee at Denver, James. Who do you have?
Man. I'm going to go against my own team. I'm going to take Milwaukee. I love the way Middleton's playing right now. I still like Denver to win it all, but I'm going to go with Milwaukee in the upset.
Ooh.
Crazy. I know.
Give me chalk. Give me the standard Denver at home.
Okay.
I'm going to take it. Now, what about Phoenix hosting Philadelphia at 10? Still no Durant as of this point. There's no way he's back by the Saturday game.
No. And because of that, I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking Philly. I'm going against the grain. I'm taking Philly there.
I will agree with you on this.
Just without him.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Philly in this one as well. So that moves us into Sunday, where my beloved, for now, Chicago Bulls need to get a win in LA, but I don't think that will happen. What's the game that sticks out? Now, this is more of a flat Sunday, if you ask me.
Sunday's a little flatter, yeah.
We've got some games that could have been really exciting. Memphis, Atlanta still could be fun.
Yeah, it's still fun. Atlanta's they're trying to get in the playoffs. Dallas gets a cupcake. They need that bad, trying to get in. Chicago, LA is a good game. It's a big game for both teams, trying to hold position, get in. Boston's kind of murder San Antonio. Cleveland, Houston's bad. Brooklyn, Orlando is kind of fun because Orlando's playing good right now. We just talked about Fultz. Brooklyn trying not to fall into the play-in. Toronto's trying to stay in. Oklahoma City,
good one, yeah.
They're just weird. They're not great, but there's weird implications like Oklahoma City, Portland. Portland's on the outside looking in. Oklahoma City's trying to stay in. And then, honestly, the biggest game of the night is Minnesota Golden State. They're right next to each other in the standings.
Yeah, and Karl Anthony Towns will be back in the mix for that one. So that will be very interesting. You know, you did mention there are a lot of implications here. You've got Washington on the outside looking in while Toronto tries to hold position. Won't maybe be an exciting game for everyone to watch, but definitely if you're a fan of those teams or fan of any team, there's a lot to be paying attention to on Sunday because a lot of these games will have an impact, especially in the West, but even so in those play-in teams in the East. There's so many teams bunched up together that all these games become significantly more important. So which ones should we pick? Let's stick to the playoff implication ones.
Yep, let's do that.
Let's start with Chicago at LA. Who do you got there, James?
Sticking with the same thing I did the other time, LA at home. I like LA at home. It's tough. I
Give me
hate
Chicago. I'm gonna be. I'm
Go
I need
against the grain.
I need it, baby. Give me Chicago on the road. I don't really believe this, so don't bet on it. But Memphis at Atlanta. I like Atlanta at home on this one, James. What do you think? Memphis gonna get
Ooh,
it done?
I think Memphis gets it done. I think the return of Ja. I think Memphis gets it done. That is sneaky good. Where's Atlanta sitting in the standings? Are they in right now? Is Quinn Snyder taking these guys to the playoffs? They
Well, as
are
long,
in.
yeah,
They
they
are
are
in.
in. And one of the things that I've seen trending on Twitter lately in the video department are they're almost like UFO sightings now. They're becoming less and less rare, these sightings of Trae Young playing good on-ball defense. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty nuts. So I don't know, he might have something to prove.
Yep.
Might show up and lock somebody down.
Quinn came in and got him right real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, he's ready to do it. So yeah, you taking Memphis on the road there? You think Atlanta's going to hold court?
I like Memphis on the road there. I really do.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
For fun, let's get Brooklyn and Orlando in that mix because I think
Yeah.
that's a fun one. Who do you got?
Give me Markelle Fultz and the Magic at home. Give it to me. Bring it on.
Okay. I
Bad win
need
for them. Bad win for them because of Wemby seedings, but I think they got to win tonight. I think they're going to do it again. They just beat
They
the Knicks tonight at home.
continue to surprise people. I'm going to bank on another 40 piece from Brooklyn Bridges, and that's going to be the only thing that will allow this to happen.
Yeah,
So
fair
give
enough.
me Brooklyn on the road as they grasp so tightly onto their playoff positioning. I think Washington loses to Toronto at home.
I think so too.
So that one's, I think, an easy one. Oklahoma City at Portland. A lot of drama in Portland, always is, surrounding Dame and the fact that he doesn't want to rebuild but wants to be there. What are your thoughts there? Oklahoma City taking it down on the road, or is Portland going to get back? Nope, no Portland getting back in.
I have no Portland getting back in. Get this man a second star, please. Get somebody next to him and stop wasting him.
I cannot retweet that enough times.
Yeah, get this man some help.
Minnesota at Golden State. Now, I think this one, I mean, if we're going to play the numbers on this one, I don't even really have to ask, but I'll do it.
You know what I'm going to say, because I'm sticking to the number. There's one team I stick to the numbers on. They're so extravagant.
So just for those of you who haven't been keeping up at home, that means the Warriors. We are both taking the Warriors at home because they don't lose there.
Because they are 29-7 at home. They are on a winning streak on the road, though, so maybe they're flipping the script. Who knows?
Ooh, look out. No, give me Golden State to lock it up Sunday night. They will take that down. So there we go. That is our weekend preview. And now I have to switch it up a little bit.
We got a little something different here.
We have a question now. This is from my dear friend and one of our co-hosts here, one of the members of the Bite Size Network, Nate. Now, Nate is in a dynasty basketball league where he needs to keep 8 of the following players. Now, this is spread out across a couple of screenshots, so we may rotate them here, but we'll start with the first one. We have Marcus Smart, Dyson Daniels, Branham, Bogdanovich, Bol, Shaden Sharp, and Jalen Smith.
Okay.
All right, it gets better. We have Alex Caruso, Ja Morant, Jeremy Sochan, Jeremy Okogie, McDaniels, Williams, DeJounte Murray down there.
Okay.
And now the last two are Kuminga and Jordan Clarkson, who I didn't see the first time when I was looking at these. Because I gave Nate an answer in our Discord, but I wanted to run this by you. I feel like the two of us together, so we can keep 8. I think we'll agree on more than most, on most of that 8, but worst case scenario, you can pick 4, I'll pick 4. So let's start with the easy one, James. Who are the easy keepers for this fantasy team?
Ja Morant and DeJounte Murray are automatic.
Yep, 1 and 2.
Yep.
Ja, yep, and Murray. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Automatic. Okay. Man, I kind of like Jordan Clarkson.
I like Jordan Clarkson too.
From a scoring perspective. Can you flip this back to the second one so I can see that again?
Yes, I can. We will switch that back.
Okay.
I like Caruso, I believe. given who we have here. If we're keeping 8, I think maybe
Keeping
he's not
8.
a lock yet, but keep him in the mix for now, I believe.
Go back one more
We'll go
page.
to
Give me the first page.
one. Yep, we got Marcus Smart, who I do think Marcus Smart is. I don't know. I'd have to look at his fantasy numbers though. It depends on the scoring because steals and rebounds in some leagues will
Don't
get
matter.
you a lot.
Like
Some don't matter.
let's go ahead and put him in. Even like we don't know, but I think so. The one I keep like. Let me go look up Sochan's numbers because my thought process, and it's goofy, but my thought process is if they would get Wemby, his assist number should skyrocket.
You know, I had.
Let me look this up. I really have never taken a look at his stats.
While you're looking at that with Sochan, I'm gonna make, of course, an argument for Shaedon Sharp as a potential.
You love
keeper.
Shaedon Sharp, yeah.
I love Sharp. I think we keep an eye on him. I'm not ready to lock him in yet, but once we're comfortable around 6 or 7, I think if we're uncertain, I would look at Sharp as somebody who's going to take a big leap next year.
I don't hate the Shaedon Sharp one. I really don't, honestly. Yeah, I don't. I can't really argue Sochan.
What about Okogie? Okogie in Phoenix. He's on my potential list. The more we look through this, the more I feel good about Shaedon Sharp.
Let's go ahead and put Shaedon Sharp down. That locks him in.
That's 5 locked in. We got 3 left out of this grouping.
I don't think I can justify Jeremy, even if they would get Wemby. His stats are just 11 points a game, 5 rebounds. He only averages 2.5 assists. He'd be playing next to Wemby. Wemby shoots it way better. He's only shooting 24.6% from 3. Yeah, I don't like him.
Yeah. What about Dyson Daniels? I have admittedly, because of pain and suffering, kind of turned away from New Orleans in recent weeks. Now,
That's the way I feel too. So let's do this too. Let's pull his stats up because I'm the same way. I have to look. I just don't pay attention to that team because they're bad. No, I did watch him.
10 draft pick. So
I did watch him live, and they killed the Bucks when I watched him. So there is that.
I think he's got a lot of upside. I mean, obviously, he was a lottery pick. So
is he even? What is his? Is he?
So he might not be playing now. It's from the sounds of it.
I'm an idiot. I pulled up the Hornets. I pulled up the wrong team. That was like, where is
the old New Orleans?
That's what I did. I did that. I did the accent there. Okay, let's go to the Pelicans. Man, what a bad deal with Zion injury. Like, man, they just hurts.
Yeah, I'll rule some out. So we've ruled out Sochan. I'm going to rule out Jalen Smith as much as I like him. He hasn't gotten he kind of fell out of that rotation in Indiana and hasn't really given me any reason to think that you can't draft something better next year.
Yeah, Dyson Daniels hasn't played a ton. 18.6 minutes per game, 3.9 points, 3.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 29.7% from 3. Yeah, that's tough. He's just buried behind your favorite player in the league.
We'll have to avoid that one.
Yeah, I think he's out.
I don't know if you're keeping all 8 with this team, if I'm being honest. Would you want to keep your boy Bol? We got 3 spots.
If we're gonna let's talk about that. Let's fill this 8 out. Let's fill this 8 out.
Yeah,
He didn't play tonight. He hasn't played a ton, but there is upside with him. You know,
which is at some point that's where we're at with these grouping. I think we're
looking
3
for
bets
upside
on guys we think will take a step forward next year. So maybe Bol is with this list that we have. He could be. Now we haven't
9 and
talked
5.8
about Bogdanovich. Is that somebody worth keeping?
Bogdanovich probably is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think with what we're looking at, Bogdanovich has to go in.
So we'll lock him in as number 6.
We have to lock him in. Yeah, Bol's been playing very little, 6'5", 15, 17. So he's been all over the place. I'm off. I'm out on him. I'd rather have Sochan over him.
Sochan over him. What about now? We talked about it a little bit earlier. What about Caruso on a return coming back for next year? Do you think?
I actually, the way this is, I was really against it when you first said it, but the way this is played out now, knowing Lonzo Ball may be out all of next season too, I do like Caruso. I do like keeping him.
And there was something about how it was openly known in the league that multiple teams wanted to trade for him, and the Bulls were just like, absolutely not. We're not doing it. Just makes me believe that they're high
he's
on
definitely
him.
well liked.
He's going to get some run, and I think he's, with the guys we have here, I think I'd be keeping Caruso. So we're down to our last spot now, so I will read you the 7 keepers we have so far. We have Ja Morant, DeJounte Murray, Jordan Clarkson, Marcus Smart, Shaedon Sharpe, Bogdanovich, and Caruso. So who is the magic number 8? Is it Dyson Daniels? Is it Malachi Branham, Bol, Jalen Smith, Jeremy Sochan? Is it McDaniels, Williams? And then our last 2, we got Kuminga. What's the other one down here?
I don't like Williams at all. I just don't think he's figuring it out. Kuminga's interesting, but I don't know what's going to happen there. I kind of like sticking with Sochan in the last spot. What do you think?
I'm good with it. I think there's a lot of potential there. I like little things like seeing a guy be willing to try shooting free throws one-handed and to stick with it through all the mockery and whatnot, and then see actual improvement there. So I'm good with Sochan. I'm good with that. I also think I could be okay with Okogie in this spot.
Yeah, I would
be.
I'd argue
against that either.
I'd be okay with either of them. I agree with that. I want to look and see. So Sochan is on the season. He is, what is it? 69.8% from free throw. I'd have to go look this up. He was 40% in November. December, he was 60%. January, 61%. And then it took off. February was 82% essentially this month. Or March, 74%. Oh, no, I was ahead. Sorry. March, he's 77. I was reading those backwards. But anyway, I'd love to know when he switched. I would love to know when he made the switch. Yeah, October he was 40%. November he was 60%. I bet it was in December. Huh? December he was 61%. I wonder when he made that switch. It'd be fun to look up.
Yeah,
he's gotten massively better by doing it.
He has, and I think there's, like I said, I think that shows some growth. It's good for a kid to be open and able to do those things, and then to follow it through, see improvements. So I expect that team's going to be a lot better next year too. I really think so. I think that's a good one. I think we did okay for you, Nate. Let us know when you get to watch this, and those of you in the comments, fire away. You're here with us right now. Let us know. Were there any keepers that we overlooked, or are we crazy for skipping on your guy? I'd love to hear it while we're still here before we head home.
Grant Williams is front row at the Tennessee game. He's right behind the bench going nuts.
Yes. Gotta love it.
Ball,
yeah, that's right. What are the score updates? Yeah, that's what we can hit on our way out. So I'll update them on the NBA, and then we'll switch over to you for college basketball.
You get the NBA going, and I'll get the college.
Orlando took down the Knicks, as you mentioned, 111 to 106 earlier. Cleveland barely beat Brooklyn, 116 to 114.
Good win for that. They needed that bad. Both teams needed that.
Absolutely needed it. New Orleans wins the meaningless Charlotte Hornet Bowl, where the two franchises, they took down the Hornets 115 to 96. And, of course, in 15 minutes, the Thunder and the Clippers will duel. But what do you have over on your end, James?
I've got Tennessee up 25-19, last media in the first half. And then Gonzaga, UCLA just tipped off. The Zags up early, 11-9. Okay, Gonzaga has 11 points, Kev. The immortal Drew Timme, the immortal. He's going to play in college basketball forever. They're never going to let him leave. How many points does he have?
All 11.
He has 9. 9 of the 11.
Oh, 9 was what I was going to guess, but I had wanted.
Wild.
It's still impressive. It's all right, Drew. I'm so impressed. Very impressed. So, all right, we already gave you our picks for those
Yep.
games. So if you missed them, go ahead and start back at
Flip
the
on
beginning
back.
and check
Yep.
us out. James, now is the time before we send them home. Was there anything that I missed? Any fun talking points from this week in
No,
the
I
world
got
of
you.
hoops?
You snuck my Markel Fultz love in there. You got all this. It's been a fantastic tournament. It has been so much fun. All outside, I don't think Arkansas, the Must Bus, had much fun tonight. But
Yeah.
we're both gonna, once we get off here, we're both gonna watch these. It's gonna be a late night, but I'm very excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Tournament's been great so far. So, and we're getting close to playoff time. We're getting close to crunch time, Kev.
We are. I was looking at less than 3 weeks away. All right, guys. So you
It's close.
make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss a single episode of The Bounce. We will have you prepared. Although, we may curse your favorite team on accident. But just let us know. We'll try to work
It'll
around
happen.
it. But you'll certainly be one of the most informed fans on the internet when it comes time for the playoffs. And here we go.
Yeah, there he
Travis
is.
says, go Zags.
Dookies are gone, so he's got a new team.
I'm all about it. So, last thing for you, James, what was your favorite moment from the first round of the March Madness? For me, unfortunately for Virginia, it was that absolutely
Oh my
chaotic
God, that play was
end.
awesome. That chaotic end was awesome. Let me flip back. I don't want to just look at these scores again, so I don't miss. Easy, you want to talk about Purdue, obviously. Let's see. I'm just going to scroll through these and see. That Furman ending was nuts. That game was over, and just madness broke out. Let's see here. First day. I don't think there's anything the first day that I liked more. This is just such a blur. There's so many games. Fairleigh Dickinson win was awesome.
Another point for how great this tournament was that you have to double check. It's not that there were no moments. It's like, let me double check. I didn't forget in this cornucopia of major moments.
It was really sad that Drake couldn't pull it off against Miami. That hurt my soul. They were up until Miami pulled a press late and got him.
I would have much preferred to lose to Drake than to lose to Miami. Yes, so
yeah,
we're in agreement there.
The Florida Atlantic ending against Memphis was awesome. That was an awesome ending.
There it is.
That was a late one. That was so fun. So the Furman ending on the first day, the second day is Florida Atlantic. That was so much fun.
I think we covered them both right there. Those are the two best in my opinion.
Yep.
So, well, this is time now. It's time for us to send them home.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We're back, baby.
Here.
We're back.
We're back and better than ever here on Bite Size Sports. So you can be sure to see us here now every Thursday at 9 p.m. But it won't just be us. We have our good friends John and Nick going live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. talking NFL on Necessary Roughness. We have more shows coming too. I'm gonna hold on those announcements because we want to have dates for you. But know that there are multiple live streams and new podcasts coming to our network almost on a daily basis at this point. So be sure to like, subscribe. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find that stuff. And James, where can they find you? What do you want them following you on Twitter or not?
Right there. I got it this time. I just went straight down to the Schmitz06 on pretty much all my socials, but Twitter is where we're at. That's where we get a little ridiculous.
Absolutely. And same here, right here, Kev Nevick _ on Twitter. You can follow the channel at Bite_Size Sports on Twitter. You can find us everywhere. There are internet apps. We are on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. Subscribe for shorts, up to date, anything you want. We've got it. If it's about sports, we will be here to talk about it. And until then, thank you so much for watching and take care of yourself out there.